Do you need a budget build to satisfy your keyboard building needs? Well, I did, and I'm here to share one with you. Hey guys, today we're going to be building and modding one of the best budget builds around, pairing a GK68x with the Gateron yellows and Everglide Panda plate mount stabs. I am super happy with how this came out, and I think that this is definitely a fun build if you're up for it. Anyway, let's jump right into it. Taking this thing out of the box, we are greeted with the keyboard and a pamphlet that gives us a graphics of the keys, the function descriptions, a software example, and a plug for their other boards in the GK line. Underneath, we have a tiny box with a keycap puller and a switch puller. I definitely will never recommend these kinds because they hurt your hands and they might even damage your keycaps. Underneath, we also have a split spacebar module and a pretty nice braided USB-C to USB-A cable. Inspecting the case, we see a pretty generic and unassuming board shape, a USB-C cutout in the top left, user's view, and some rubber feet on the bottom. The plate seems to be painted steel. This stuff scratches super easily, by the way, and it has a pretty nice blacked out PCB. The inside has these struts for rigidity and room for a battery. Before we get into the mods, I think that this is a good time to play the stock sound test. Now for the mods. This was a massive pain in the behind, but I'll make it all nicey nice for you guys. The first mod that I did was filed off the standoffs to make the plate plus PCB assembly more flexible. Then I added foam to the case, which involved taking the ridges out and stuffing it full of random foam I had laying around. While I was here, I cut off these standoffs with some flush cutters. I also took some time to make a plate foam layer out of foam that came with the Gateron yellows. Additionally, I tape modded the back of the PCB, and to finish it off, I heightened the USB-C cutout to suit the extra space made by the O-ring. Finally, we have assembly. Firstly, I prepared the screws by putting an O-ring onto the screw, feeding it through the plate, and then putting an O-ring on the underside of the screw. Next, I put in the lubed and filmed switches and stabilizers. Then I put the whole plate plus PCB assembly into the case and screwed it down, rather loosely. Finally, I put on these keycaps I got from Amazon, and the sub $130 custom mechanical keyboard build was finished. Let's take a listen to the sound test. I really like how this build came out. It has a nice balance of thocky and clacky. Thacky, if you will. The Gateron yellows make this build sound a little cheap, but the tape mod help prevents that a lot. The O-ring mod adds a lot to the feeling of this board, as well as the sound, and it is definitely a great way to make your board sound better. You definitely cannot go wrong with this build for $130. Thanks for watching, and see